What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown. It is Wednesday night of our recording for the Thursday podcast. We've got a couple things to cover today. Last Blazer game we went to against the Hornets. We've got a big game coming up against Golden State where we could see Gary Payton return. We made a video on that. Go check it out if you haven't, but we'll discuss some of it right now. Some Klay Thompson rumors, some other rumors across the board, but should be pretty packed. We'll keep it short and simple, though, and just get straight to the point when it comes to all the news.
Yep, point of NBA is making our team better and better to win that NBA championship, and Klay Thompson is an asset that has been rumoring around. I mean, he is 33 now, something like that. My question to you guys to start the pod is, if that were to happen, how would Klay Thompson fit on this team? Where would his role go? Given we already have a point guard and shooting guard, we most definitely aren't trading. He'd have to be the three, right?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, when you think of Klay Thompson, you think of elite shooting, and every team needs elite shooting. So, of course, the Blazers would be very interested in him as a player. However, and this is not to take anything away from Klay, but his defense has regressed a little bit over the past few years. And also just in general, the shots he's taking I don't really think are great, personally, his shot profile. He takes a lot of shots pretty much. Hopefully, if you paired him with Dame and Ant, he would be...
stats.
Yeah, if you paired him with Dame and Ant, he would not take as many shots, and he'd be more of a 3-and-D player, an elite one at that, because he's an elite shooter. And although the defense has regressed, he'd still be an upgrade defensively for this team. So I think he would definitely be an interesting candidate for the starting small forward spot. The question is, would Klay actually want to do that? Would Klay be willing to take a secondary role because you have Dame and even Jeremy there? Josh Hart's so good because he doesn't take a lot of shots, So it'll be interesting to see how Klay's shots where did he get his shots from in the team.
My question about this rumor is I'm kind of confused, just why this is coming up suddenly. I get the reasoning on why Portland would be on the list. It's because he's from he lived in Lake Oswego for 12 years when he was younger, and his dad played for the Blazers. But when I saw this rumor, I was thinking okay, that makes sense because his contract's up at the end of the year, but his contract's actually up at the end of next year. So this isn't even something we need to worry about until almost a year and a half to 2 years down the line. And at that point, who knows what this team looks like? So
yeah,
it's just a random rumor, but I guess the thinking behind it in a way makes sense. I do think Klay could slot in fine on the team. And this is something we don't talk about a lot. It's a free agent with Portland. It's not like we would have to give someone up for him. So I think that's good.
It definitely feels like a random headline, almost like a kind of like just an attention headline that people are obviously going to read about it. I don't know how true it is necessarily because it would be 2 years down the line. It's so hard to predict, what these players are going to do year in, year out, especially in the super team era. So, but Klay Thompson is still a very good player, right?
I mean, yes, he is. I have some stats.
Stat man here.
I mean, he's actually struggled since his injury, but 39.7% field goals and 37.53. That is honestly not really
pretty
good.
Much the field goal percentage is straight from the fact that he takes tough shots for
but the 3-point percentage is still good.
The 3-point percentage is still good. You guys say he would slot in well with our team. I don't know if I can agree with that. I mean, you're going to have Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, two elite shooters, adding another elite shooter. I mean, sure, more.
Never have too much shooting.
I mean, but can you? I mean, we had too much shooting last year, and that regressed on our defensive end. But then again, Klay is tall. He's a good defender, but is he a true three?
The hope would be as a more of a 2-3 option instead of a straight number 2 option. He'd be able to work off ball and get clean looks because just imagine defenses having to defend the perimeter with Dame and Klay.
It's like how good Klay was when they had KD and Curry.
And Grant can shoot the ball.
And Nurk can shoot the ball.
Nurk can shoot. Yeah, we'll get into that. But it's similar to when KD and Curry were on the Warriors. Klay, it opened up so much for Klay, and that's when he was at the peak of his powers, basically. So, but also, we do see Klay is slightly regressing. Who knows? 2 years down the line, he could be someone that
What is he? 33.
He's probably 31 or something.
31. Oh, so
but
he'll be 33.
Who knows? He could be coming off the bench then, and he could be a 6th man of the year candidate.
So he's gonna bench. He's also gonna ask for money probably.
You would think, but you
never know. Other thing is
he's 2 years down the line.
He's so ingrained and so valuable to Golden State as a franchise.
You say that, and I was about to read this. It's because it's why are they coming up with this rumor? Because it literally says the quote from the reporter. He is so ingrained in the Warriors right now. He's such a part of that team and the culture. Everything he went through with the injuries and just his whole laid back attitude and approach. They love him. It would be hard to imagine him in another uniform. So
Yeah.
it's like,
it's Klay's definitely, when you think of Golden State, especially in the past decade or so, Klay Thompson's probably the second player that comes to mind, behind Steph Curry, obviously. But they're like 1A, 1B. They've been a tandem for forever. So I think it'd have to take a lot for Klay to leave. What I want to say, what's funny to me, is the Blazers were on the list. You know who else was on the list?
Who?
The Lakers.
I mean,
But when are the Lakers not on the list? When are the Lakers not on the list?
Well, the Lakers actually need shooting. We don't need shooting.
Well, you can always. Everyone needs more shooting.
this isn't like the rumors on which teams would want him. It's just the teams he said he's interested, or according to this executive, which again, who.
Yeah.
What does he actually know?
What do these executives know
So.
at the end of the day? But it is still a rumor, and it is interesting because I don't know. I feel like the Warriors and the Blazers have always seen the Warriors, I think, as kind of the blueprint.
As daddy.
As you know, blueprint
exactly
was
what
the
came to
more
mind.
blueprint was the more
PG term.
the politically correct term there, but
Yeah. Okay.
definitely, Golden State is kind of the standard of what, teams with elite backcourts.
I mean, they had Steph and Clay. We had Dame and CJ. We were always the inferior one and got swept by them every time and tried to copy them and, to be honest, failed miserably.
Well,
But,
it's because honestly, if we don't have to get into that, but Draymond Green played a huge role there for that team.
True.
Draymond Green, Alfred Camino. They bring different things.
I'll take Al-Farouk. No,
Take the
just
Chief?
kidding. Taking the Chief. Where is he? He's not in the league, right?
No.
Yeah, he's not.
Neither.
I don't think Harkless is either.
Yeah.
No.
He's not either.
Half the Western Conference Finals team probably isn't in the league anymore because Myers isn't in the league.
Yeah. Vid coming out on that in the near future. About
On Myers?
That is
Past
very
Blazer
true. Not on
players.
Myers, on past Blazer
Oh,
players.
it's
That is
like,
true.
dang.
Yep.
So Klay Thompson, obviously, let's touch on we touched on it in a video. Again, you can go watch it. But let's touch on another guy that has been with the Warriors a lot, Gary Payton II.
Another Warriors guy.
Expected to possibly make his return on Friday night against the Warriors, getting his ring. We don't need to go too deep into it, but we can kind of recycle thoughts from that video for those that didn't see it. You were mentioning Josh Hart, you take it.
Okay, so Josh Hart has a player option, and if we weren't to trade him by the deadline, then we could basically get nothing out of it in a way if things were to go wrong. But it's just basically we're most likely going to trade Josh Hart. He is our biggest trading piece on our roster.
The Blazers would be foolish not to trade Josh Hart.
Okay, so you're saying that, but from this perspective, it's all right because Gary Payton can almost fill that Josh Hart role, like not like he's gonna be a starter or anything.
Dog mentality.
Yeah, that dog mentality, that elite defensive aspect to our team, and everyone says the Blazer bench sucks. That's kind of the biggest thing people get mad at. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but
the defense.
Yeah, the defense and the bench always seems to be the problem, and he is that perfect piece. And sure, it's frustrating when he's been sitting out this long, when he's been medically cleared to play, but you don't want to rush NBA injuries. You want them to take their time because it'll be good for your health in the long run. And it's about all I have to say about Gary Payton II. I mean it makes sense he's going to come back.
What I'll say is he's just
on Friday.
He's an impact player that fills a position of need for this team. And I said this in the video, but the Blazers' defense right now is not exactly, let's say, stifling.
Can we get a rank of our defense?
I have actually.
you're
that's what I was doing, but
you can pull it up. I'm interested.
Tough on the phone. If you can find it, you can too.
You try to, because in the first 2 weeks we were hovering around top 10, maybe a little bit
there we go.
behind, but
there we go.
Recently we have fallen off, and it's disappointing. The Blazers are
23rd in defensive rating.
No, that's
23rd in the league. Now again, we've talked about this a ton on other podcasts. We're not 29th. We're not 30th. It is improvement. But we were hovering around the top 10 to start the year. But I'm telling you, Gary Payton's a player who can impact your defense like that because he has such tenacity on the defensive end of the ball, the floor. And we saw it with Golden State. I mean, he was in the finals. I'm not saying he did a great. I mean, I would have to find stats for this, but he was checking Tatum and Brown at times.
All right, guessing game. In the month of December, where are we ranked defensively in the league?
Okay,
December. So we
28th.
had our bad road trip, which is also a thing we are going to talk about because usually in podcasts we start off with what happened
Actually,
on the
let
week.
me-
But we
Dallas, we gave up a ton.
lost 2 against OKC, cleaned up the
The
Rockets.
entire month of December, I don't know.
I'm gonna have to
I'll
say-
25th.
I'm going to say, I was exactly going to say that. I'll go 24th.
16th.
Okay, so that's surprising.
What I would say is I think it's because of a few outlier games, such as playing San Antonio and playing Oklahoma City twice. Because I remember those games were
That
like
is true.
at the hundreds.
They're bad teams, and we only lost by 1 possession.
But like
in both games.
the games we played that are gonna matter, like the teams that we will play in the playoffs if we get there. Dallas gave up 130.
Cooked
Denver cooked us on the
Cooked
road.
us. Cooked
And
us.
it's just those the games I remember distinctly from this past road trip. Even Charlotte in the other game, they had like almost 70 at the break. So the
Yeah.
defense has definitely been it's taken a step back, but it hasn't. It's not just because of the roster construction; it's because of injuries too. Like that plays a factor. Winslow, Nasir being out, and Gary Payton, like those were three
Yeah, tough
guys.
road
3
schedule.
plus defenders.
Those
yeah.
were 3+ defenders that were. I actually saw a cool analogy on Blazers Edge I was reading this morning, and they said that the Blazers defense is like a ship, and Dame and Ant are the holes in the ship. Like they just are. They're just not they're not great defenders. That's
a weird
fine.
analogy.
But
okay.
Winslow, Nasir, and Gary Payton were the boards that you're going to try to cover up the holes with. And it's not going to be perfect, but you just try to. They're Flex Seal. I think I've made that analogy before.
Okay.
They're Flex Seal. So
I don't think I've heard that one before. But
well, that's why. It's because I read it this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to talk about defense? Because I do want to talk about just the last week because we have 2 games to
I'll
talk
just
about.
say, let's talk about the Charlotte game first off.
Let's pull it
124,
up.
113.
Well, I
Guess
mean-
who went to the game?
Yeah,
Us.
we were at the game.
All 3 of us. Yeah.
Extremely awesome night with the win and then
Tribute.
also the tribute to Dame, who actually struggled that night. I think it was like 5 for 18. But
Yeah.
you saw Jeremy have a good game.
I got
I have the stats.
Jusuf
2
Nurkic
words
have a
for
good
you.
game.
Jusuf Nurkic. How about it?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a game from him.
Look,
5
I have the
threes.
stats.
Please, I mean,
He
give me
has
all
the
the
stats.
stats.
That guy always has stats.
Give me.
I got
give me
the stats. I'm a
give
stats
me-
guy. Okay?
Give me like block. Give me everything.
I'm giving you
Because
everything.
I think he filled it. He
I'm
filled
giving
it
you
up.
everything. Okay. He had 28 points. Not a career high, but close. I don't know his exact
Yeah.
career high on the top of my head.
Career high in threes, I can tell
He
you
was
that.
he was trying to get 30 though. I could tell at the end.
was he going for the 3-point record?
He was chucking up some shots.
For
yeah.
what?
8 for 12 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3. Nurk was 5 for 5 from 3
Yeah,
until
he picked-
garbage time.
Yeah.
So he was chucking away and making his threes. He's probably up to a low 40% shooter now on the year after that game. You know, it's really awesome to see Nurk actually as a
How
three-point
many
shooter.
assists? And he
Yeah,
had like
sorry,
6
sorry.
assists.
6 assists,
Yep.
15 boards.
We were hoping
Fifth.
triple double.
We were hoping triple.
was
He
on
had 6
triple-double
assists.
a little bit.
Yeah, he had 6 assists. Pretty like third quarter probably. 4 turnovers, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Amazing game from Nurk. One of his best of the year. Definitely top 3. That comes to my head.
I'd go as far to say I think that's probably a top 5 performance from him in a Blazer uniform.
You could go as
You
far as say it.
obviously I can think of the 5x5 game off the top of my head. I can't think of others, but I'm not just gonna say it's number 2. But it's definitely up there because let's be honest, we're probably not beating the Hornets if Nurk and Eubanks combine to go 6 for 8 from 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he makes 1 for 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Eubanks went 1 for
I'll
1.
briefly go through the rest of the stats. Jeremy Grant, 32, highest
game.
score on the team.
Great game.
4 from 6 from 3. 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Didn't even realize he had 10 rebounds and 5 assists. Impressive game from Jeremy Grant. Simons, 18 points, 6 for 15, 3 from 8, 3 for 8 from 3. Damian Lillard struggled, 5 for 18.
Which he tends to always do when we're in attendance.
Yeah, do you want to quickly mention that? Or we
And
have a following
in the
talk
games
about
he's
it.
in the games he's done well. He hasn't got to play enough Dallas games, but
Yeah.
Okay, he was 1 from 10 from 3. Lillard on the ceremony night, which we'll get to, to that as well.
He did say that it was definitely a weird night for him because
We,
he knew he was being celebrated at the end. And it wasn't a normal night. So
just get through it with a win.
just get through it with a win. I don't, obviously I think he was trying too hard, but it
Maybe
was
the
definitely
pressure
not
was
a
on.
normal night. I don't know about pressure, but it was just
Dame
a weird.
thrives
Dame
under
feels
pressure.
pressure?
Exactly.
Dame thrives under
It
pressure.
was just,
yeah.
it was just
It
a
was
different
awkward,
night.
yeah.
It's a once in a career night.
And yeah, he goes 1 from 10 from 3. That's got to be his top 10 worst 3-point shooting performances of his career. And you guys have been there for
Two of them.
For 2 of them. So these guys
What was
are.
he, 0 for 9 against New
Hey,
Orleans.
I went to the game where Dame hit 11 threes like not too long ago, and these guys are just bad luck for Damian Lillard. So
Whatever.
I don't know what to say. Dame, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. These guys are the reason why you shot so bad, but
Before you keep going, I want to roll back to the Jusuf Nurkic shooting theme.
Yeah.
I wanna
He's
do that
actually
too.
up, and we can go ahead and just get into it. He's up to 46% on now 2 attempts per game.
okay.
So,
So he's basically
Wow.
making one of 2 a game.
He's about hitting. He's hitting .9 a
And
game.
you know what's interesting to me is everyone's like regression, and sure, but I also think like this is a situation where this like because he doesn't take a ton of attempts, I think he could sustain this.
I mean,
At this point, I think he can too.
I mean,
Like
his
he
sample
might
size-
regress, he might start clanking, but it's not like he's going 1 of 2. He's not going 4 of 8. Like he's only taking 2. You just gotta make 1, and his shooting form, his stroke looks good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he hasn't. It's not like he's taken like 10 3-pointers this year and he's made 4 of them. Like, no,
Yeah,
he's
he's got a
taken
decent
probably
sample
30
size.
to. Yeah, he has a decent sample size.
Yeah.
So saying he can sustain this is not out of the question.
One thing I want to say with regards to Nurk shooting is this obviously is going to open up the floor because now you can pretty much, I know Josh Hart's not a great shooter, but you can pretty much play 5 out now, and you don't just have a rim runner. You have a guy who can shoot the 3. So what's interesting now is you would theoretically think the lane is going to open up a ton for Dame and Grant. Hart, Dame and Grant. I just realized Ant and Grant are running.
Yeah.
What it brings me to the main point is if you just replace Josh Hart with not an elite 3 and D, but a guy who can shoot and can be your best defender on the floor, or that's obviously the biggest piece for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But how many pieces away are the Blazers from truly contending for a championship? I guess is what I'm going to break it down here. Because if Nurk's going to start shooting, that just opens up a new dimension to the offense.
We're still like Nurk can be
if we
inconsistent,
find that
but
perfect 3 and D, is that the only piece we need, or do you think there's more?
I feel like there's one plus. I think there's 2.
I think you
there's
have to
2.
get the
And by
big time scorer off the bench, whether that's Sharp turns into that or if that's someone out there.
Klay Thompson
to
in
go
2 years.
Yeah, Klay Thompson 2 years. But like, obviously we've been, I guess we touched on every podcast. We've been hard on Nurk, but I'm starting to come around more. Like he's actually playing a lot better in the last week or so. So hopefully it keeps up. The 3-point shooting is a big reason of why he's playing this well, and the fact that we're now having conversations of are we one piece away in the starting lineup to being true contenders.
Well, I was
is
just
a
saying,
testament to Nurk.
yeah, obviously we also have made the comments before that we don't think we can win a championship with Nurk, so you could argue that we're 2 pieces away because we need a different center. I mean, that's not anything against Nurk, that's just the reality of our opinion maybe. But if Nurk can turn himself into a Brook Lopez type, where his shot profile is like either literally at the rim for like lobs, easy finishes, or 3s. We're not going to get to defensively because Brook Lopez is very good on the defensive side of the ball. But if Nurk can have that shot profile, and then we also get like a elite 3 and D, that could be a recipe.
I feel like the 3 and D would be just the most obvious first move that we would have to make.
Yes, because
like
the reason why it makes so much sense too is because the person that is currently playing your 3 and D, playing your 3, he doesn't shoot much. It is the guy who is the biggest asset for your team.
Yeah.
So it's almost like just a Josh Hart goes.
I just hope our
better player
defense. I
comes
just
in.
really hope our defense doesn't plummet if we were to trade Josh Hart with Gary Payton. Like I said, coming back, it's important. Hopefully.
Do you want to finish stats or do you just move on?
Basic. Okay, LaMelo had 27. He had a cool little logo shot. PJ
Hornets
Washington.
announcer like that one.
Yeah, he was. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, you don't.
PJ Washington,
don't want to hear it.
22, 9 for 13.
He played well.
I mean, pretty spread out scoring.
You know who
Oubre,
did have a good game?
Terry. This guy said for his DraftKings, Terry minus or under 22.5, and he gets some money. And Terry
Had what, 4?
was 2 for 17.
2 for 17.
It wasn't Terry's best performance.
Maybe we're bad luck for Terry.
But yeah, that's nothing much more to say about that game. I mean, we were down 14 at one point. Is that concerning, guys? Like, oh my gosh. You're down 14 at home to the team that's trying to get Victor. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, but we won.
Yes, but we won. So
Okay.
at the end of the day, are we going to look back at this game and be like, man, I'm glad we came back from 14? You're just going to be like, oh, we won. That was a
yeah,
W.
all right, whatever.
But
yeah.
yeah, moving on from the game and more just into general storylines as the trade deadline approaches. Going back to Josh Hart. Josh Hart is, again, the biggest asset we have. He's the best tradable piece, and we do have some quote-unquote targets that we are pursuing as the team. I don't know. Obviously, when we say targets, these are rumors. Like, no one knows who Joe Cronin is calling.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than Jeremy Grant, which that was very obvious, I remember last year we were talking about Miles Turner. That never happened. We talked about Miles Turner a lot.
Let's talk about Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal.
We talked about Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal. That's just because it was rumored by a rival Western Conference exec, for whatever that means. But what are some trade targets right now? Obviously, OG Anunoby. Who else?
So these are guys that, again, like he said, no real reports about it. And then these are the guys that I think would fit in the best of like the guys that could possibly be traded. I'm just going to roll through them and then we can talk about whoever we want to talk about. Obviously, OG, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Kuzma, DeMar DeRozan, Jared Vanderbilt, Mo Bamba.
So
you could throw Jakob Poeltl in there too.
DeRozan, I would just say no.
Or why?
Because I think he's getting a little too old. I don't think he plays good enough defense, and I think in order for him to be good, he has to really just shoot the most on the team, and we just don't have enough shots for him.
I agree.
My description I put was all-star, 25-point scorer, not much defense, 2 years of control, most likely about to decline.
Yeah, and he could have great years, but I just don't think we need a scorer who needs volume shooting like CJ, for example. Like, DeRozan's better than CJ, you would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we talked about OG.
Yeah,
we'll talk about OG and
love
Siakam
OG.
last, but Jared Vanderbilt. I'll throw Jared Vanderbilt and Mo Bamba in the same category. I think those are both guys that are literally, like, would be perfect role guys. And they could come off the bench. Like, if you have Jared Vanderbilt off your bench, Mo Bamba off your bench, you have instantly grabbed another piece to that championship puzzle and put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Vanderbilt, I said brings great bench production, elite rebounder for his size, great defender, does the dirty work. And the cost for him would be like a rotational bench player, so say like a Justice Winslow, and then either a first-round pick or a young player. So maybe Winslow
question.
and Keon, or Winslow and
This
first.
is how I
would hope
this is
that's
how
the
I
first.
like justify trades. You're saying it would be say just Winslow and a first for Vanderbilt. I don't know if it's that's worth it because I feel like Winslow and Vanderbilt are similar type players. I do think Vanderbilt's better, but is he a first round pick better than Justice Winslow?
I don't think so either.
But also Minnesota needs first rounders because they gave Utah 5 for Big Booty Rudy.
Big Booty Rudy, yeah.
Brutal.
No, he's on Utah now.
Oh, he is on Utah.
I
yeah,
used the
sorry.
Minnesota
Yeah, I'm
pick,
looking at
yeah.
the Wolves picture, but yes, he
My
was
God.
part of that deal
That's
actually.
I didn't even realize I used the Wolves pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who would you rather have, Jared Vanderbilt or Mo Bamba? I would probably say Mo Bamba because I feel like he'd be cheaper.
Bamba brings. He's young.
Well, he can
Ideal
shoot.
backup center. Good 3-point shooter. Elite shot blocker. Massive wingspan. I said massive wingspan.
But again, in the
Insane
NBA, you need
wingspan.
size and length.
I think the thing about Mo Bamba, he is less. He's less of a sure thing than Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt has been on a playoff team, and he actually his game relies so much on like his effort and hustle that he rarely actually has bad games.
But with all respect to Drew Eubanks, Mo Bamba, I think Mo Bamba makes your team
And I think he costs
better,
less.
and he costs less.
I said rotational bench player and a back end young player. So like
Keon.
not even Keon. I would say like Justice Winslow and Greg Brown, or Justice Winslow and a second round pick, because I think they're just trying to get rid of him at this point.
Interesting. Who else did you have on there? You had DeMar, you had Mo, you had Jared.
Let's talk about Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma is who I want to talk about. Kyle Kuzma is an interesting one because
Is he a good defender?
When
I don't know.
I think he brings
Average.
average defending. I think he's a similar defender to Josh Hart. Josh Hart might be better, but Kyle Kuzma has size. Again,
Elite rebounder, 20-plus
He's
points
tall.
per game score. He's
tall.
entering his prime. And I said the cost would be starting quality
it's-
role player, a.k.a. Josh Hart, and then like a second round pick.
Which I
he was
think-
getting clowned on the Lakers, but he's actually
but
an
he's
asset that would be
become an
valuable.
elite rebounder for his position, and he can
And
score
he brings
the ball
size.
now.
Good.
Obviously, OG is the guy we want the most, and we've talked about the most. Cost for him, I don't expect the Donovan Mitchell package that they're trying to
Yeah.
report, but high quality
think
role
that's
player,
just
a.k.a.
media.
Josh Hart,
Drama.
young player, a.k.a. Nasir Little or
Would-
Keon Johnson, and then multiple picks.
Would you trade Shaedon Sharp for OG?
I probably wouldn't.
You
Would you?
wouldn't.
I don't
I
think I
don't.
would.
I don't
It's
know.
so hard
just
because it's so early.
Are
for
we
Shaedon.
winning? Are we winning? Trying to win like now, like this
Yeah.
year or next year, or are we like fine with waiting 3 years down the line? Obviously, Dame's still going to be good in 3 years, but let's be honest, he's probably not going to be as good as he is today.
Okay, now a question that I would have. The Jeremy Grant trade, people wanted to get him at the deadline, and they were very antsy. The Blazers waited, got him for cheaper in the summer. Do you think OG could be a similar situation, or do you think the price could rise in the summer?
I think that the price could go down in the summer, but my only thing is I don't think many people were bidding against Portland for Jeremy Grant for some reason, even though like he could fit perfectly on Dallas right now instead of Christian Wood or something like that. But I think you could see another team come in and swoop and get OG at the deadline.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to play that risk if you're set on getting OG Anunoby. Who knows? Joe Cronin could be seeing all these rumors and he's like, what are we doing? OG's physical sucks or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want
Who
to
knows?
trade Sharp. I don't
honestly,
I think he's the future
I
for
want
our
to try
team.
to, unless we're trading Sharp for Kevin Durant or an all-star player, I would rather keep Sharp.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time we had a young player with this much potential?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Simons, maybe. No.
So,
We used to think Simon, not we, but people used to think Simon sucked. Remember,
Yeah,
he was the worst defender in the league?
yeah.
Yeah.
Stats don't tell you everything.
I had zero expectations Simons was going to be like this. I was like, Gary Trent's the future.
Mm-hmm.
When people were
Who
like,
got
Simon-
traded to the Raptors? I'm telling you, the Blazers and the Raptors are kind of synonymous. They were supposed to play each other in the 2019 finals.
They were.
They were.
But the refs.
But the refs.
Golden State smoked us.
Yeah.
All right.
Smoked it.
I want to talk about the schedule because I literally went through every team's schedule earlier this morning and just looking at how many like road trips of different teams. The Blazers are the only team in the NBA with 3 6-game road trips. They're the only team that's done 2. No other team has done 2.
Adam
obviously, this
Silver
year.
wants us to fail.
Only 2 other teams in the NBA have 2 6-game road trips. About half
2.
the league has 0 6-game road trips, and the other half that is left have 1. So, like,
That
what are we
is-
doing, Adam?
Yeah, Adam.
We already have to travel the most.
I feel like, I feel
What is he
like
doing, bro?
because we have to travel the most, maybe they're trying to just consolidate the travel. I mean,
Who knows?
you would think more road trips would mean more home stands.
I guess
It could correlate to that. It's just sucks.
it is just odd.
Like
Well,
we lose.
We are in the corner of the U.S., so the closest team to us is what, Sacramento?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like we lose to the Thunder twice on the end of this road trip. It's like, would that have happened if this was like a 3-game road trip instead? Like, I don't know, a 6-game road
probably
trip
not at all.
puts so much toll on your
We had-
body.
we had
Then
to
why
do-
do they
we
stick
had
in Denver at the
We
end
had
of
to do
the
the
road
Texas
trip?
Triangle.
Like that is so.
Then they're
sweaty.
just chucking Denver in there. Speaking,
You know
we
what's crazy?
did you guys watch the Denver game? We didn't talk about that game. We basically just got blown
Just
out.
got worked.
Do we want to talk about it? Stats guy can give stats. If
I
you
have
want to.
stats.
Okay,
I have
well,
stats.
why-
We got worked in the
Of course
Denver
I
game.
would.
I'll run through them. I mean, we actually had a
Let's
lead though, which was clutch, but yeah, we blew it. Dame 34, 10 for 22, 4 for 11. Grant 20, 7 for 13, 3 for 6. Hart 14 and 11
3 for
boards.
6 from 3.
Simon's good stats.
Simon's not good stats. 6 for 22, 1 for 10. I mean, it's just a normal
That's a
Blazer
CJ game.
Someone's going to suck. Someone's going
normal
to do
Blazer
good. Simon sucked that game. Dame did good. Grant was middle. Like, it's just a basic
But it's interesting you say that. Grant,
We were just gassed.
Grant had 17.
20.
20, 3 of 6 from 3, and that's middle for Grant. That just shows how good Grant is.
Yeah,
these
maybe
days.
I shouldn't have used the word middle, but
Well, I mean,
it's just
it might be right with the new way, with the way he's playing. Like he just had 32.
we were not meant to win this game at all. Just
I feel like we never win in Denver. Not this game 7.
end of a 6-game road trip, and just so gassed after losing to OKC. Your morale's low. Jokic is a god, and that's about all to say about that game. So
Yeah.
it sucked.
You want to go back to the schedule?
Yeah.
Kind of jumping, Cole.
Schedule?
You have schedule up. I saw.
Oh yeah, I just pulled the schedule up because I'm about to say something and it's gonna end up biting us in the butt. But we have a nice stretch coming up here.
Oh, okay.
Golden State, no Steph. Detroit, Minnesota, Indiana, Toronto, Orlando.
Okay, that
Those
is-
are all winnable
Wait,
games.
can you read that again?
Golden State.
Okay, without
no,
Curry.
No Steph.
Okay.
GP back. Hopefully.
You would think.
Detroit.
Whoa.
Okay, that's a win.
Gross. Minnesota. So gross right now. Indiana.
That's a
Scrappy,
win.
but
That's a
win.
win.
Toronto.
That should be a win.
Pretty.
Is that the
pretty
road
solid,
or
but
home?
that's the game that's going to kick OG out of Toronto. Hopefully.
Love it.
Those are 3 road games though. Then we come home and get Orlando.
Dub.
I love that.
Love
but then
it.
we got to go, and then we're on a homestand. But we go Cleveland, Dallas, back to back, Denver. Then we have a 6-game homestand. This is also the month where we have, I think, 11 home games
Out
and
of
4
15
road
or
games.
something. Yeah.
This is a good month.
Yeah.
This is a good month.
Yeah.
Interesting thing. So you said first game is Golden State, then it's
Detroit.
Yeah, so Detroit. I don't know if you saw half the night Detroit, but they might get a ton of their
Players
I don't know about
ejected
ton,
or
yeah.
suspended.
Someone
At
got,
least Killian, right?
someone got punched. It was almost Malice at the Palace part too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, hopefully we should win. January should be a solid month for us. This is our time to extend our lead, get back in the standings, get back in the groove, go up the
Can you do a
rankings.
standings check?
We'll just
Let's do a standings check.
I believe we're 7.
We
Or
are 8, but
8?
half a game back of 6 and 7.
How far out are we from the 1? That's what we're going to get at.
We
Just
are
wanna see how
4
close it
games
is.
back of the 1. Phoenix just had news that Devin Booker is going to be out for weeks, so maybe they drop a little bit because who would you say is going to lead that team now?
I think we're passing the Kings as well. You should put this on the video.
Yeah, we could.
Kings are scrappy.
Golden State.
The West is weird.
Golden State.
I'm about to
is-
say something wild, but like
Say it. Say it.
none of the teams scare me. And
None
I
of the
say
teams
that in the
scare.
point, like, I think the Blazers, at the end of the day, have a fighter's chance against every single team in a series.
That's a fair
Well,
take.
the thing about,
So maybe
I would
I'll
say
put it
every
up.
team outside, I'd say the 2 teams that scare me the most is probably a healthy Phoenix and a healthy Denver.
And I would throw in maybe a healthy Clippers.
Yeah, it's just Memphis and New Orleans don't scare me. Yes, we
The
can
Warriors
lose to
also
them.
own us.
True, but a lot of these teams are like newer to the upper echelon of the Western Conference. They don't have a lot of playoff experience. As much as Ja likes to say, I'm not worried about anyone in the West. He's got Dame Lillard in the
The
West.
only series he won
Yeah,
is in
that's
Minnesota. He's
Again.
only won a series in Minnesota. That's
and
it.
that is.
That's
And then
Minnesota.
you see the Grizzlies. They were talking about their team like this is a dynasty. Like, bro,
Clay put him in their place. Future Blazer Clay put him in their place.
future.
tough.
Yeah, exactly.
And
The Kings beat the Nuggets
Like
tonight.
I think the
Sheesh.
Pelicans have one of the brightest futures in the NBA, and they very well could make a run this year and start it off this year. But
Mhm.
as a 1 seed, like that's probably one of the like least scary 1 seeds I've seen in the Western Conference for the past 10 years.
Dude, this
Wow.
just quickly. Sabonis 31, Fox 31, Malik Monk 33 off the bench.
Hmm.
They beat Denver.
How do Yoke do?
Yoke had 47 and 6.
Kings are impressive, but there's
And the
no
Warriors
way.
beat the Jazz.
There's no way the Kings are in
so
front of
Sabonis
us.
did play.
Sabonis, yeah.
He does have like a broken thumb right now. So
Yeah, he worked. He cooked.
good stuff. Good stuff.
But, yeah, I mean, look, I'm kind of rooting for the Kings. And again, this can also bite me in the butt later.
Love it. I know what you're
But
gonna say.
if the Kings are going to be a top 6 seed, and we get the 6 seed, and the Kings work the 3 seed, we got to go to Sacramento for 2
You think
games.
that's
I mean,
scary?
if we did
Dude,
all
we're
this,
gonna face the Kings and get smoked in the playoff.
if we did all this work, all this podcast,
I'll-
all these trades,
Clip it.
When he says clip it, that is not a good sign.
Yeah.
Clip it. If we lose to the Kings in a playoff series, this channel is getting wiped from the face of the earth.
yeah, true. If we did all this work, all this grind, all these trades, all this just
Just to lose to De'Aaron
everything,
Fox.
just to lose to the Kings in the playoffs, that would be just
Would it hurt more to lose to the Kings or the Timberwolves?
Kings.
Kings.
Kings are the most poverty franchise in the league.
Okay.
Yeah,
When's the
zero.
last time they made the playoffs? 06?
2004, longest drought in pro
2004.
sports.
I
All
was
pro
3.
sports.
I would love to go to Golden Center for a playoff series. I don't know about you guys, but that would be free. That would be a
That'd
free
be-
dub.
Oh,
Okay.
Anyway.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
we can't talk about playoffs yet. We got to get to the deadline.
Yeah, we have to get to the playoffs first.
True.
Remember Westbrook's quote from last year? He's like, "Once you get to the playoffs,
You know, Braun-
it's 0-0. You're
Braun just
0-0."
Braun just deleted a tweet saying, and he tweeted it last year when the Lakers missed the playoffs. He was like, "I'm never missing the playoffs the rest of my career," and I put that, and I promise, and I'll stand by that. And he just deleted the tweet the other day.
Yikes.
Well, how old is he now? 38?
His birthday is coming up.
He's 37 or
Yeah,
38,
he's
and he
38.
has no shooting around him. And Anthony Davis is on the bench a ton, so
Hey.
hurt.
Yeah.
Day
I mean, could the
day
Lakers make a
this.
run? AD was popping off, but he's out now. Again, he's injured once again. But
I'll put it on the screen as I'm showing them.
what is that?
That's
Oh,
Dame
Braun.
to LeBron.
That's not happening.
Let's do it.
No,
Yeah,
it
it
won't,
is.
but
I
it'd
mean,
be
we
cool.
are seeing Bronny tomorrow night.
So what?
in
We have
Portland.
to pay Dame $60 million, and then LeBron also like $70 million. Yeah, no thanks. That's not happening.
Anything else you want to cover before we wrap it up? Because I think we touched on everything I had in the notes.
I don't know. Do you guys want to give like a projection for?
We do it every week. At the end of what was last week? What was the week?
I said, do we go undefeated until the new
Yeah,
year?
we
And
had-
boy, did that not
That was
happen.
after we just had Denver, Charlotte. We said we wanted to go 1-1, and we went 1-1. So
Yeah.
we can't be mad about this past week.
Who
Now
do we
got
got coming
Golden
up?
State, Detroit, Minnesota. I want to go
3
I want to
games.
go 2-1 at worst. If we go into the next podcast at 2-1, I'm not gonna be mad.
I'm saying 3-0, but if we go 2-1, it's because we lose tomorrow or the next day.
Agreed. Yeah.
So you think are we gonna be favorites against Golden State? You think?
It'd be. Oh man, I'm gonna say no.
I don't think we are.
I think no, because I think they're kind of riding high after their Christmas win.
Did they win today? Let me check real quick.
They played the Hornets yesterday. So.
By the way, I'm gonna say we're going 2-1. I think we take care of Detroit and Minnesota. We lose to Golden State. If we beat Golden State, that'd be great.
Today.
But
yeah, they beat them.
did they win?
Yeah, they just beat the Jazz 112-107. Let's see who's coming into this game.
They are coming off a back-and-back Golden State.
Did Klay do well?
Poole had 26.
Klay didn't play.
Klay did not play. He's resting up for the Bulls.
That's
Dude,
another
the
thing.
Jazz were fraudulent.
Still,
but we knew
500.
this.
All right, but I would say two. I'll say 2-1.
Also 2-1.
I want to be mad at a
I'll
2-1.
say 3-0 because
A 1-2 would be again. It'll just be another disappointing.
We're
week.
18-16.
18-16. We can't keep stacking disappointing weeks in a row.
Yep.
So a 2-1 would be much needed for this team.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I
I
agree.
definitely agree with that.
And and if Gary Payton has not played by the next podcast,
Then what are you gonna do?
then we'll delete you. I'm kidding.
Okay.
But that'll be rough.
Any
That'll be
any outlandish takes before we shut her down?
rough.
Any-
When's our
any-
next Portland trip? Because I was looking at tickets for early June, and I think we'll be coming out here for the finals. That's my take.
The finals, yeah. Oh my god.
Outlandish take though, I'll say
I'll give you an outlandish.
Gary Payton's back on against Golden State.
I'll
That's
give you
not
an
happening.
outlandish
Hopefully it
one
is.
that won't happen, but it won't happen because it's outlandish.
Okay.
Blazers get 3 All-Stars.
What? That is just
That
so
was a
weak.
hot take by Cash Peterson before.
2 is hot.
No, I don't think 2's hot.
2 is hot.
2 is hot.
I think Jeremy Grant will be an All-Star. And Simons is second in the league in 3-pointers.
All right, I'll have one.
And it's Dame Dollar.
Nurkic's gonna be a 50% 3-point shooter by April.
Is that hot?
Yes, because it's a center.
That's my outlandish
It's
take.
a center who has no track record of making anything.
All right, if
Okay,
you're still
I've-
watching at this point in the podcast, drop your hot take in the comments.
I have no confidence in that. Never mind.
Well, I don't have confidence in 3 All-Stars.
But
Thank you guys
that's
for
gonna
watching.
do it. I think this was episode
64.
Ooh,
65.
I have a good
think.
one. Blazers get home court and we sweep first-round opponent.
And that will be the Kings.
Yes, in the 3-6.
We'll be the 3.
Yeah, because we get home.
Oh, that would make
And it'll be
sense.
like a Pelicans rerun, sort of, but we sweep this time.
Dude, all this and we're gonna get dropped by Lemmicky in the plan.
Or we play the Kings in the play-in and lose. That sucks.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta end it.
Yeah, we got to end it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Go Blazers.